Okay, so in the last tutorial video, we added our basic HTML. We made sure that our styles were linked. We tested it by changing the H1 color to red and seeing if it worked. And it did in fact work. So we are ready to start setting up our website to have this structure. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself a little bit of room so that you can see what we're working with. And we're going to start in HTML, and we're going to do it in this body. So I'm going to leave the heading 1 down there, and I'm just going to start working my way down. So the first thing I'm going to do is add the div with an ID of wrapper. So I'm going to type div ID equals wrapper, and it automatically closes, and I want everything in my site to go inside of these div tags. So I'm going to go ahead and put my content in there for now so I know that it's in the wrapper. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start adding things like header and nav. So I'm going to go ahead and put header, add the logo image here. So I just put a little bit of text in there so that it does show up. If you don't put text in there, it won't show up. And then I'm going to put the nav. So nav, add your navigation links here. And I like when things line up, so it annoys me when it doesn't. So I'm just working from the top down and left to right. So now we have the div ID of slideshow because there's no generic slideshow div. So add slideshow images here. And then I'm going to add this section. So I'll go ahead and do section. And this is where I'm probably going to put my H1 and my paragraph. And it's a really good idea to put some of that lorem ipsum in there because we want to see how text is going to look and we want it to fill up that space. So I would put whatever lorem ipsum you can find in here. For now, I'm just going to copy this a bunch. Okay. Copy that. All right. So I'm also going to put my H2 of latest news, and this H1 should say welcome. All right. So again, things aren't lining up. Sorry, I really get weird about that. So, all right. There we go. So now we have some content in there. It's not showing up down here because I haven't saved it. So let's save it and see what we've got. All right. So another thing to be aware of is if you don't have spaces, and now I'm totally regretting doing that. It's going to take me forever. It's not going to, see how it's not wrapping? It's because we have no spaces in there, so it doesn't know that it can line break those words. So I need to fix all of this. So many regrets. So many regrets. Okay. Copy that. Paste it. Okay, there we go. Now if we hit file save, now it looks like actual paragraphs that when I squeeze in and out, it actually looks like paragraphs. Okay. So notice that these structures, they don't have any color. They don't have any spacing. They don't have anything. They kind of look like they're just sitting there and we don't know what to do with them yet, but we will. Trust me. So now we have the aside, and in the aside, we actually have 2 other divs. So they need to be inside the actual aside tags. So I'm going to come in here and I can delete this. I don't know why I didn't, but I can delete that and then now put aside. And then inside of this, I'm going to have 2 div tags. Div with an ID of events. So add events here. And then the last one is div with an ID of featured. Add featured here. Line those up. Now actually I like them to be like indented so that they look like they are a part of the aside, which they are. So those 2 things are inside of the aside. And this section, let's pull that up. Separate that from that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so last but not least is I actually have a footer down here, and there is structure tags for that. So I'll go ahead and type footer, add copyright, and I'm thinking maybe for this this section I actually want to do social media. Add copyright and social media icons here. Okay, so that is basically the structure. It doesn't look like this yet, but I'll show you what it looks like. I'll save this. And now when we look at the live preview, that's basically all it is right now. That's the start of the website. So what we need to do is we need to be able to get this latest welcome and latest news to the left, these two things to the right, and then make sure this is sitting at the bottom, and then make sure these are, we're able to see those and they have their garish colors. So that's what we're going to do in the next video, is now how do we actually start laying it out using CSS.